Brothers and sisters of Burkina Faso, sons and daughters of Africa, courageous defenders of our homeland, today I speak not only with pride, but with a heart that still carries the weight of our recent sorrow. Only a week ago, 42 of our brave officers, our sons, our brothers, our protectors, were martyred by the hands of the same cowardly terrorists who thought they could break our spirit. They believed that by shedding the blood of our heroes, they could sow fear in our land. They believed we would bow, we would tremble, we would accept their terror as destiny. But today we answer them with action, not words. Today we say to them and to their sponsors, you have awakened the lion. The tears of our mothers became the fuel of our resolve. The blood of our officers did not fall in vain, it watered the roots of our resistance, and from it grew the storm that has now swept away 100 of your kind. 1 week ago we mourned, today we strike back. 1 week ago our hearts were heavy, today they beat with justice. The souls of our 42 fallen heroes march with the drones that cross the skies, guided by our determination, armed with our conviction, and delivered upon the enemy the message that Burkina Faso does not forget, does not forgive without justice, and does not bow to terror. Let the world hear this clearly. Burkina Faso is not a playground for foreign agendas. We have seen how they plant chaos, how they fund warlords, how they arm demons and call them rebels, how they exploit our resources while our people bury their children. But those days are ending. America, with your presidents who preach democracy while feeding destruction, we name you. We see your hand behind the shadows. You thought Africa would remain your chessboard where our blood is your currency and our land your prize. Those days are over. Our skies are no longer open to your manipulations. Our fields are no longer the graves you dig with your policies. To our armed forces, to every soldier, pilot, technician, intelligence officer who made this operation possible, you have avenged your brothers. You have proven that their sacrifice was not in vain. You have shown the world that the blood of one Burkinabè officer weighs more than the armies of mercenaries and the schemes of imperialists. Your drones did not just carry missiles, they carried the grief of a nation and the promise of retribution. To the people of Burkina Faso, this victory is yours. You bore the pain with dignity, and you now share the triumph with pride. The mothers who wept last week can today raise their heads, knowing their sons' courage has not been forgotten. The children who hid in fear can now walk with a new hope. The farmers in the east, the merchants in the north, the youth in our cities, this is your victory as much as it is our armies. But my brothers and sisters, this war is far from over. The drone that struck was only one step in a long journey. We will continue to strike. We will continue to dismantle the roots of terrorism, not only in the battlefield, but in the banks that fund it, the politics that protect it, the foreign policies that feed it. We know the soil that breeds terror. It is poverty, it is exploitation, it is foreign interference masked as partnership. We will rebuild that soil with unity, with industry, with African pride. To our allies in Mali, Niger, and across the Sahel, this is our path. We stand together or we fall one by one. Let this operation be a message to you. The days of waiting for others to save us are gone. We are our own salvation. To those in the West who still believe they can destabilize us, this is your warning. Every life you take will be answered. Every attack you sponsor will be avenged. Every attempt to divide us will be met with a stronger Africa. This is not a plea. This is a declaration. We are not asking to be free. We are free and we will defend that freedom with every breath, every drop of blood, every drone that flies under our sky. Today we celebrate, tomorrow we fortify. We honor the 42 who fell. We honor the 100 who will never harm our people again. And we honor the countless millions of Africans who deserve to live without the shadow of neocolonialism over their future. Long live our martyrs. Long live our armed forces. Long live Burkina Faso. Long live a sovereign Africa. To the enemies of our peace, to the presidents who think they own our tomorrow, hear this from the heart of Ouagadougou. We are not the victims you once knew. We are the storm you can no longer stop. Only a week ago, our nation wept. 42 of our brave officers, sons of the soil, guardians of our borders, laid down their lives in the line of duty. They were ambushed, not because they were weak, but because they stood as an obstacle to the forces of chaos. These men were not just soldiers, they were fathers, brothers, sons, and heroes who carried the hopes of Burkina Faso on their shoulders. Their loss struck at the heart of our nation. It pained every mother, every father, every child who dreams of a free and safe homeland. But the blood of our martyrs was not shed in vain. It became the spark that lit the fire of justice. It became the call that echoed in every camp, every barracks, every village. We will not forget, and we will not forgive without justice. This drone offensive is not just an operation, it is an answer. It is the voice of a nation that refuses to kneel before terror. 100 terrorists have paid the price for their crimes. This is not vengeance born of hatred. This is justice born of sacrifice. When we said we would honor our fallen, this is what we meant, to ensure their blood speaks louder than the guns of the enemy. To the families of the 42 officers, know this: your pain is our pain. Your loss is our loss. Your sons are now immortal in the history of Burkina Faso. Their sacrifice awakened a new resolve within this nation. We will continue to hunt every shadow that seeks to harm us. We will strike with precision, we will act with unity, and we will ensure that no foreign hand can use terrorism as a weapon against our sovereignty. This is only the beginning. The enemies of peace must understand, for every drop of Burkinabè blood spilled, there will be an answer. We do not celebrate death, we celebrate the restoration of dignity, and the spirits of our 42 martyrs march with us as we rebuild, defend, and rise stronger than ever. The skies of Burkina Faso have delivered a message that cannot be ignored, a message written not with ink, but with precision, strength, and courage. 100 terrorists have been eliminated, their camps have been silenced, their weapons seized, their plans dismantled. This was not an ordinary strike, this was a turning point, a statement to every corner of the Sahel and beyond. Burkina Faso is no longer the hunting ground of terror, it is the battleground of justice. For years our land has endured the plague of terrorism. Men who hide their faces, spill innocent blood, and claim to fight for causes they do not understand, have brought suffering to our villages and fear to our roads. They burned our schools, ambushed our convoys, and turned our fields into graveyards. But today that tide is turning. Today the hunter has become the hunted. This victory is not just measured in numbers, it is measured in the relief of our people, in the hope that returns to the eyes of our farmers, in the confidence of our traders who can once again travel their routes, in the smiles of our children who can sleep without the sound of gunfire in the distance. To those who doubted our resolve, this is your answer. To those who thought Burkina Faso would bow to fear, this is your awakening. To those who financed and sheltered these terrorists, take this as a warning. Every plot will be uncovered, every network dismantled, every mercenary brought to justice. But let us be clear, this is not the end. It is a message, a milestone, a moment that tells our enemies that their time is running out. The road ahead is long, the threats are many, but our determination is stronger. With the spirit of our ancestors, with the courage of our soldiers, and with the unity of our people, terrorism will not find a home here again. This is a massive victory. Yes, but it is also a promise that Burkina Faso will not only survive this storm, it will rise above it, and it will shine as a beacon of strength in a region too long betrayed by those who claim to protect it. Burkina Faso has spoken, and the message is clear. We will no longer allow foreign powers to dictate the fate of our people. For decades, outside forces have attempted to manipulate our nation, to turn our sovereignty into a commodity, to sow chaos for their own gain. They come with promises of aid, with agreements disguised as partnership, and yet they leave behind nothing but despair, division, and blood. No more. Today, we reclaim our power. Today, we demonstrate that the destiny of Burkina Faso is in the hands of Burkinabè, and no distant capital or foreign president can change that. America, Europe, and any other nation that seeks to impose its will, take notice. We are not your puppets. We are not your pawns. We are not a land for your experiments, your schemes, or your battles fought through proxies. The drone strike that eliminated 100 terrorists is a message not only to the terrorists themselves, but to the sponsors of terror who hide behind their flags and their rhetoric. Burkina Faso's resolve is unshakable. We see your influence, we understand your games, and we are prepared to counter them at every turn. You thought you could weaken us through chaos, yet we have turned that chaos into a reason to rise. Let the world know this is defiance, but it is not reckless. This is strategic, precise, and rooted in justice. We will defend our borders, our people, and our sovereignty with intelligence, strength, and unwavering unity. Every foreign hand that attempts to destabilize us will find itself met with the full force of a nation that will no longer be intimidated. To the people of Burkina Faso, this defiance is also a reminder. Our independence is sacred, and it must be protected at every level, in our politics, in our economy, in our military, and in the spirit of our communities. Our enemies seek to divide us, but today we show them that unity is our shield and courage is our sword. This victory, this strike, this assertion of our sovereignty is a turning point. Let no one mistake Burkina Faso for a nation that submits to pressure. We stand tall, we stand free, and we will continue to defend our land, our people, and the principles of African dignity against any force that seeks to interfere in our affairs. The strength of Burkina Faso is not only measured in weapons or strategies, but in the unbreakable bond between its people and its defenders. Our soldiers fight with courage because they know the people stand behind them. The people endure because they trust their soldiers to protect them. This unity, forged in sacrifice, in struggle, and in shared love for the homeland, is what makes our victories possible. When 42 of our brave officers fell just 1 week ago, the nation mourned together. Mothers wept, fathers grieved, and the youth felt the weight of loss. Yet in that sorrow, a remarkable truth emerged. The bond between the people and their military grew stronger, tighter, unshakable. The grief did not weaken us. It became a force that propelled our armed forces to avenge their fallen brothers and assert the sovereignty of Burkina Faso. Our people are not mere spectators of this struggle. They are participants, partners, and co-defenders of our land. Every prayer sent for our soldiers, every effort to rebuild communities, every act of resilience in the face of terror strengthens the morale of our forces. The drones that struck last week carried more than missiles. They carried the collective resolve, hope, and courage of a nation united against those who sought to destroy it. This unity sends a message to all who wish to harm us. Burkina Faso does not fight alone. The people are the backbone, the soldiers are the shield, and together they form an unbreakable force. When our enemies witness this bond, they see not just a nation, but a living, breathing wall of courage that cannot be toppled by fear, manipulation, or external interference. It is this unity that transforms grief into action, despair into determination, and loss into victory. The sacrifices of our soldiers inspire the people, and the support of the people empowers our soldiers to achieve feats that no outside force could imagine. Together we reclaim our land, defend our homes, and honor our martyrs. Let every corner of Burkina Faso know the people and the military are one. They march together, fight together, and rise together. This unity is our greatest weapon, our shield, and the guarantee of our freedom. It is the reason why no terrorist, no foreign power, and no enemy can ever break the spirit of our nation. Across the continent of Africa, the time has come for us to rise as one. Burkina Faso has shown the world that courage, unity, and resolve can overcome the forces of terror and foreign interference, but our struggle is not confined to our borders. The enemies of our peace do not respect lines on a map. They sow chaos wherever opportunity arises. They exploit divisions, fuel conflicts, and leave a trail of suffering from Mali to Niger, from Chad to Nigeria, and beyond. This is why our fight must transcend Burkina Faso. This is why the call for Pan-African solidarity is urgent, uncompromising, and non-negotiable. The age of waiting for others to defend us is over. We can no longer rely on foreign powers who claim to protect us while secretly advancing their own agendas. Africa must defend Africa. We must share intelligence, coordinate strategies, and strengthen the bonds that colonial powers and neo-colonial forces have long sought to sever. Let the people of Mali, Niger, Ghana, Nigeria, Chad, and every African nation hear this clearly. Burkina Faso stands ready to work with you, to unite with you, and to resist the forces that threaten our sovereignty. Together we are a force that cannot be ignored, manipulated, or defeated. Our future resistance must be strategic, disciplined, and rooted in the values of dignity, self-determination, and justice. It is not enough to strike back once or twice. We must build the institutions, the industries, and the networks that make our nations self-reliant. Defense industries, intelligence networks, educational programs, and economic initiatives must all serve the purpose of freeing Africa from dependency and exploitation. Every resource we mine, every factory we build, every school we open must be a brick in the foundation of a sovereign and united Africa. To the youth of our continent, hear this: your courage, creativity, and determination are the lifeblood of this movement. You are the generation that can transform tragedy into triumph, fear into resolve, and oppression into liberation. Do not wait for permission to act. Do not allow others to dictate your destiny. The time to rise is now. Learn, organize, and take your place as defenders of your homeland and your continent. Your energy, your discipline, and your vision will determine whether Africa remains a playground for outsiders or becomes the architect of its own future. To the enemies of Africa, to the powers that have long profited from our division and suffering, take notice. We are no longer isolated nations struggling individually. We are a continent awakening, a network of sovereign states that will defend each other, protect each other, and rise together. Every attempt to destabilize one of us will be met with coordinated resistance. Every attempt to exploit our resources will face united opposition. Every effort to spread terror will encounter the full force of our combined resolve. This is the vision of future resistance, a network of African nations standing shoulder to shoulder, sharing intelligence, sharing strength, and sharing the burden of defending our people. It is a vision where terrorism cannot take root, where foreign interference is ineffective, and where the dignity and freedom of African nations are non-negotiable. Burkina Faso has taken a stand, but it is only one step in a journey that requires the courage, wisdom, and unity of the entire continent. Let this be the legacy we leave for our children and for the generations to come, a continent that is free, sovereign, and united, a continent that no longer bows to external pressure, a continent that fights for its own destiny with the power, courage, and determination that has always been within us. Africa is awake, Africa is rising, and together we will never be defeated.